Happy New Year. I'm sick. 2025 is supposed to be my year, right? I know everybody has been saying that. Everybody says it every year. But I was like, this year, it's gonna be the one. It's only up from here. And it's starting off so rough. But welcome back to recapping all of Aphmau's MyStreet before season 7 drops this year in 2025. I apologize for my rough, sick voice in this video, but we're gonna get through it. Before we start, I have something to rant about. Not really, but I have a question for the audience. There's something I want to do now. In my sickness state, I stumbled upon on TikTok this video of like the Aphmau booth at VidCon, and they have like the workers in there, and I was like, oh my god, that would be so cool to be one of the workers in like that booth. You get to like look at all the merch and kind of make it like kind of magical for like the younger viewers. And I was like, oh, this would be so cute. But then I saw someone dressed in the mascot. It wasn't that funny, but like I saw someone dressed up in like the mascot cat, and I was like, please, how do I get that job? If they need someone to be the mascot, hey, I have a resume. Totally down. Be the mascot for your VidCon booth if you ever need that again. Anyways, we're gonna get into it. Welcome back. We're talking about season 3 of MyStreet, which is titled Lover's Lane. Lover's Lane takes place right after season 2, so after they get back. But actually, before I jump the gun a little bit, there's actually a mini prequel series in between season 2 and season 3. It's called The Even Bigger Move. It kind of followed like exactly what happened in The Big Move, like the original, except it had its own like twists. And they also went to Olive Garden, like, again. So we're gonna cover The Bigger Move first, and then we're gonna go into Lover's Lane season 3. So the gang has returned from Love Paradise. They've been there all summer. How did they afford that? Because they all had jobs, and they still all had to pay like, rent and stuff. It's whatever. It's not a big deal. They all get back to their neighborhood that they all live on. They're like, okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna go back to work now. And then other people are like, I guess I'll go get a job. And then as they're like preparing to go back into their houses, we cut to the mayor, who has apparently decided that he's gonna blow up their neighborhood. So, backtrack, hold on. So you remember, if you remember in Love Paradise, Travis, how he got to Love Paradise is he went like insane and he blew up him, Gareth, Lawrence, and Dante, like all their house. And so their house has like been exploded. Their house has been gone. And he was been in Love Paradise the whole time. And he never told them what happened. So he never told them what happened. And so he's like, oh shit. They're gonna find out that our house has exploded. What am I supposed to do? But luckily for him, the mayor basically beat him to it because...
And welcome, demolition crew. Today we are here to say goodbye to this neighborhood. As you all know, we've been hard at work all summer due to the mysterious disappearance of its residents.
Instead of like figuring out who those people were, maybe having an investigation, I don't know, just anything, he's like, no, we're gonna blow up their house and we're gonna build a puppy hospital. So the mayor drops a bomb, a nuke on MyStreet, and all of the houses from season 1 are destroyed. Like all at once, and it's so sad, and they're sitting there like what do we do? So the mayor puts them in like this really fancy hotel room for a while, but it's like all of them, I think there's like, I don't remember how many, like 10 of them maybe. There's a lot of them. They're all shoved in this huge hotel room, and he's like, I'll let y'all live here as long as you need to until you can like find your own place. And they're like, well, oh, okay. So these first 5 episodes with The Bigger Move are basically the gang trying to find some type of neighborhood or just somewhere for all of them to live again, because all of them are kind of homeless right now. And also some of them don't have jobs after the summer. So some of them are also like out trying to find a job. And one of those is Gareth. He's like, doesn't have a job. One interesting thing throughout this season and also just like this mini series is it kind of sets up little bits about the family members of these characters, specifically like Gareth's family and Aaron's family. So while Gareth and like Zane and everyone else is trying to find a house to live in, Gareth's father's kind of calling him, being like, hey, so I know you're getting older, like it's time for you to step up and like become head of my company. And he's like, oh, I don't want to do that. Gareth in this mini-series is like, I want to get a job on my own because like everything I've ever had has been handed to me. Like my house, my job, my good looks, or everything. So there is one night where I think it's Gareth, Zane, Aaron, and Aphmau. They get invited by Gareth and Zane's mother to come out to eat with them to Olive Garden. We find out it's kind of like a business meeting, and she wants Gareth and Zane to meet this girl from this other company, and so they're like, ugh, whatever. And so they all go to Olive Garden, and for some reason Aphmau and Aaron are there, even though this is like a business meeting, but I guess their mother wants it to be like casual. I don't know. It doesn't matter, because we actually find out that the girl they're meeting is Aaron's sister. Aaron's sister is named Melissa, and I don't think we've seen her up to this point. I think this is her first, I don't think we've seen her ever. And so this is the first time we're seeing her in the series. However, if you've been keeping up until this point, you know that Aaron hasn't really been keeping in contact with his family since college. And it's been like a few seasons since college. Means he hasn't seen his sister in who knows how long. Who knows? So it's a mess. So it's a little bit awkward because she's also his older sister. He's the younger brother. So she's like, hello, brother. And he's like, hey, Melissa. He tells Melissa that Aphmau is his girlfriend, and it actually surprisingly goes really well. They're both really nervous about it, but it goes really well. And she says, like, hopefully I'll see you around. He's like, I guess. We know kind of that Aaron's family, they have a very big company, but they do like mostly like media stuff. And then like Gareth's family, they're also loaded. They also have a big family like business, and they do media stuff, but they also do like residential stuff, I'm pretty sure. They don't get too specific in the show. I think that's so they can bend it at will when it's needed for the plot, which I appreciate because we're about to see it happen for the plot. So remember when I said they were all homeless? Well, Gareth tells his mom, like, yeah, we're all still living in a hotel room. And she's like, what? Why didn't you tell me? Like, we have an open neighborhood over here that we could like rent out or something, and all you guys can just like pick a house and live next to each other again like old times. And everyone's like, yeah. Gareth, this is also the same dude who was just saying 2 episodes ago, everything's always been handed to me. And now he's getting handed a house. I mean, it's fine. It moves the plot along. It sets up season 3. And now they're on a whole new street that Gareth's family bought for them. So huzzah! Okay, so we're officially in season 3, Lover's Lane. Everybody's on the new street. People are paired differently this season. Kawai-chan and Caitlin still live together, but Aphmau does not live with them. She actually lives with Aaron in their own house. Gareth, Lawrence, and Zane all live together right now temporarily because Zane doesn't have enough money to live on his own. Travis and Dante live together. Lucinda lives on her own, and I can't remember who else lives on the street, but that's the main people. This cast is so big, sometimes I can't keep up with them, I'll be for real. I will say season 3 is like the end of an era. It is the end. It marks the end of the silly, goofy era that we have been in since season 1. I will say something about this season. Season 3 is like peak slice of life because nothing happens except till like near the end. Nothing. Things happen, like too much of just whatever happens, but like nothing to like really move the plot along happens. There's a lot of silly, goofy moments. There's a lot of like different character dynamics, but there's like, when I tell you, there is like 2 plot points, maybe 3, because after we get over the hump of being homeless, see, I say all this now, but once we get to season 4, I'm gonna be wishing it was like more silly, because season 4 is rough. I'm gonna go over the main 2 overarching plots for this season, because if I went episode by episode, we'd be here for hours, me telling you about shit that don't even matter. And then after that, we'll get into some of my personal favorite episodes, because there is a few. I did enjoy a few episodes here and there. I had some really long cackles with the season. So as you know, that a lot of them don't have jobs, but you know who do still have their jobs? Aphmau and Heyitsnan. If you remember from season 1 of MyStreet, they both actually worked part-time at a maid cafe in the city. I guess they were able to take such a long break from there, but when they both get back in season 3, they're both still working part-time, and Heyitsnan is actually like the best waitress there. Like, they all say it, like, oh my god, she's great at her job. However, she can easily get like distracted and cause some issues. Basically, one day the boss lady has had enough and she straight up fires Heyitsnan, and she's like, oh my god, like that was like the best job I've ever had. Like, what else am I gonna do? So Heyitsnan's fired, but Aphmau still works there. And then a few episodes later, Heyitsnan kind of comes to Aphmau's house and she's in tears. And she's like, I have been trying so hard to get another job, but like no one takes me seriously. And even though she got lessons from Zane in one of the episodes about being more serious, it still wasn't enough, and she still can't find another job. Aphmau basically is like, okay, I'm gonna go talk to the boss lady, and I'm gonna see if she's in a good mood, if you can like reapply for the job again, because like we do need the help. So she goes and talks to her boss, and basically when she brings up Heyitsnan, her boss gets really awful and talks really awful about Heyitsnan to her. Aphmau's her friend, so it's like, girl, what are you doing? This causes Aphmau to quit on the spot, and she goes home, and she's like, Heyitsnan, we're gonna open up our own maid cafe. And Heyitsnan's like, period, queen, let's do it. And without any like thought or preparation or some things, they're just suddenly like, yeah, let's open a maid cafe. It's not like they have a whole new house payment to pay. Like, they all have new houses. Like, you would, what? Where is this money coming from? So the maid cafe, they open it. It's a huge success. It's just a little local maid cafe, but a lot of people love it. They have to hire more help. And so guess who they hire? Gene. Like, I love Gene. So when he came back, I was like, period, my king. He just keeps coming back. And then he's also like weirdly flirting with Aphmau, and like he kind of tones it back, but then he brings it back again. Like, I don't understand his like goal, if I'm being so honest with you. Anyway, Gene coming into the picture and like helping out with the maid cafe kind of puts Zane into a spiral, and he starts being like, I'm actually Aphmau's best friend. And Gene's like, okay, I don't know why you're so clingy to her. And he's like, I'm not clingy, you're just weird and you don't deserve her friendship. And he's like, okay, dude. The rise and fall of the maid cafe is a really big part of the season, and it's definitely something that also drives kind of a bad point in Aphmau and Aaron's relationship. So during the season, Aphmau's getting more and more busier with the maid cafe, and Zane is also like kind of her business partner because he knows a lot about it because of his family. And so he's telling her like, hey, like, why don't we expand basically and become bigger? And she's like, originally she didn't want to, but because of all of the success, I think it's kind of been like, well, maybe we should. And he's kind of like, okay, I'll do the preparations. And Aaron honestly has just been kind of left on his own for a lot of the time. Aaron's been very supportive about the maid cafe through the whole season. Let me get that very clear. He's been very supportive. I think like he just really he thought this was gonna be like kind of just a local maid cafe, and she's suddenly like changing her mind about it becoming bigger. And I think he's just a little like nervous about that sudden change and how fast she's changing her mind. And I think he's also worried that like other people are telling stuff in her ear to like make her make that decision. He also just misses her. Like, he doesn't really get to see her as much anymore, even though they live together. So he kind of tries to like talk this out with her. And she's like, I don't understand, like, why you're so upset. Like, I just don't get it. And he's like, I don't know. So they have their first, like, couple fight. The tensions are weird. We don't really know Jean's intentions, but like he's trying to tell Aaron, like, I think it's weird that Zane's all over her at the same time this is going on, and Aaron's like, Jean, shut the fuck up. It's low-key a mess. And so while all this is going on, throughout the season too, Lucinda has been kind of dealing with an ex-boyfriend of hers. I'm only bringing him up now because he's relevant now. Here and there, he's been kind of like digging at her and her friends just to like get back in her life. He's just one of those assholes. What was his name? Ivan? Was that his name? I don't even remember. Anyways, Ivan, to get back at Lucinda, decides that he's gonna throw in like a cat potion into the maid cafe, and so all of the cats cause a huge havoc while nobody's there, and it causes a fire, and the maid cafe goes up in flames. Aphmau, devastated by this and also devastated and frustrated with Aaron still, she turns to Aaron and she's like, did you do this? And he's like, what? No, you think I would like destroy your business? And she's like, I don't know like who to trust right now. And he's like, what? So after that, they have another huge fight, and they decide that they're gonna take a break. They've been dating for barely 2 seasons. So Aaron and Aphmau are on a break, as they say. And Aphmau is currently in the house while Aaron's like spending some time with his family and like getting more into the family business with his sister Melissa. During this time, while she's like by herself, Zane is actually the one like comforting her, but him and her actually end up having like a one-on-one talk about like his clinginess towards her, and basically being like she thinks that she needs her own space from him, because this season he was like all over her, especially with like the business and like all his like best friend rivals and all this other stuff. Like he was like all over her more than usual, especially more than season 1. I think that conversation was needed for like a lot of character growth, and I'm glad they had it. It ended really well, but they decided to also like take some type of like break. So it's a mess. Aphmau's mom actually ends up saving the day. Her and Garth's mom, because they're amazing. They actually come and like ask Aphmau what's wrong. They see that apparently Aaron blocked Aphmau's number, and they're like, he would never do that. And so they decide to go ask Aaron himself, like, why'd you block my daughter's number? Like, what? And so they go to where they know he's staying, which is at his family's house, and his mom answers the door, and she's like, oh shit, hello, Aaron's mom, can I speak to Aaron? And she's like, no, who are you? And she's like, I'm Aphmau's mom. Who are you? And she's like, I'm the owner of this house. We find out that Aaron's mom this whole season has been wanting Aaron to come back into the family business. She's basically been wanting her son to come home. He's been gone for so long, and she thinks that with his girlfriend and all of his friends, like if he didn't have those anymore, that he would want to be part of the family and come home. And so she also has been sending Melissa over there as well to basically like bait him into coming home for different reasons. And of course it hasn't really been working, and so she decided, like, you know what, if him and his girlfriend are on a break, then I'm just gonna block her. And so apparently she got a hold of Aaron's phone and blocked Aphmau when he wasn't looking. I don't know when he did that. Why has he not like checked? I don't know. To wrap it up though, Aphmau's mom and Garth's mom go to Aaron and are like, they actually break into their house. They kind of break into the house. They tell Aaron like, hey, you blocked her, text back my daughter, bitch. And he's like, okay, period. Aphmau and Aaron end up meeting and also rekindling their relationship in the music room. They first met kind of in the old high school, Phoenix Drop High. If you know, you know. It was also apparently Phoenix Drop High is like run down. Nobody goes there anymore. And I was like, damn, that's really fucking sad. This right here is like top 5 Aphmau full circle moments for me. I love a good full circle moment when they came back and had the whole thing in the school. It's a gorgeous scene. It made me cry. It was so sweet. And of course they make up, they go home, she makes up with Zane, everyone makes up, they have a little like ending party, and that's the season. It's pretty straightforward. It's the end of the silly goofy era. It was fun. I did cry at the end. But if there is one thing this season does prove, it is that they're all victims of the Nepo baby claim. I fear they're all Nepo babies, because there is no way. There's no way they like didn't go to their jobs all summer, so like almost 2-3ish months. They had all their houses destroyed, bought a whole new neighborhood for all of them to live in, and then they also opened up a brand new business with a building and everything, and it also got destroyed on like the same, like what, who knows, like 4 months. Like what? Some of my favorite one-offs in this season, I have to name them because there was a lot of good ones. There was one episode fully dedicated to Mystic Messenger, which I think is so funny. It's called Cheating on Aaron. Another really good one was Lawrence's baby brother. That one was hilarious. That's a great one. Going Viral. That's a good one. It's this one with Travis on it, and it's the most stereotypical thumbnail I've ever seen. I do like the grand opening episode. I like the thumbnail for that one. It's a slice of life. It's funny, it's goofy, it's silly, and I enjoyed it for what we had of that era left. So this wasn't a very like typical going into too much detail about it, but I hope you still enjoyed, because again, remember, it's just a small part of a way bigger story that we're going to get into in season 4, 5, and 6, which are going to be doozies to get through. And I'm saying doozies. But thank you so much for watching. Happy New Year. I'm so excited for this year. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Also, if you know how to get that job or where to send in my resume, email me. I'll leave it in the description.